Hey guys, so this was a request that I got, so I'll just jump right into it. So here's the set of questions I'm going to go through in this example. So I've got s equals negative t cubed plus 9t squared minus 24t. This represents the position of a moving object in feet at time t in seconds. And then you can pause the video to read the three different questions here, and of course you can fast forward to any one of them if you want to see how those are done. So the first question here is to find the acceleration of the object when the velocity is 0. So you have to be careful with the wording of this because this is being actually very clear about what you need to do. This part here is telling you that you need to set your v equal to 0. So after we find out what makes the v equal 0, then we can plug that in for acceleration. So there's like a two-part process here. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is I need to take the derivative of the position function, which will give me velocity. So this is nice and straightforward, negative 3t squared plus 18t minus 24. Okay, so I know that what I need to do with this then is I need to set this function equal to 0 first. So this is negative 3t squared plus 18t minus 24 equals 0. Now I'm going to cross my fingers that I can factor this. So I'll go ahead and now factor out the 3. So then I get this function here. And so then that does factor. So this factors as t minus 4 and t minus 2. So then my two solutions here are t equals 4 or t equals 2, and of course that's in seconds in this case. Okay, so at t equals 4 and at t equals 2, the velocity is 0, so 0 feet per second. Okay, so now I have to use this in the acceleration equation. So now what I want to do is I want to make a little space. And I just noted for where v equals 0, those were the two solutions that we found. So now I have to think about acceleration. Acceleration is the second derivative of position. So I just take the derivative again. So this is negative 6t plus 18. Okay, so then I want to know what is the acceleration when the velocity is 0. So when the velocity is at these two time periods, really. So what I can do now is just really plug it in. So if I take s double prime of 2, so then I just plug that straight in like this. So I get negative 12 plus 18, so that's 6. And I guess that would be 6 feet a second squared. And then for the other one, so now I plug in 4 like this. And so if I work all that out, so now I get negative 24 plus 18, so that's negative 6 feet a second squared. Okay, so there's the answer to the first one. So I don't want to forget these equations, so I'll bring them back in a moment. Let's just go to the next question here. So what is the speed of the object when the acceleration is 0? So I actually need to bring in the two derivatives I just found. So boom, there we go. And so now, what is the speed of the object when the acceleration is 0? So now this means that I have to set my acceleration equation. I need to set that equal to 0. So not plug in 0, set it equal to 0. That's what it means is 0. So acceleration is 0, a equals 0. Okay, so now I'll take negative 6t plus 18, set that equal to 0, which I can factor out the negative 6 if I so desire, so I'll get that my t will be 3 seconds. So now I need to calculate speed. So I'll just note t equals 3 over here, and I'll clear some space. And so speed and velocity are connected. So what I need to do now is I need to plug 3 into this guy right here. So I'll take, oops, I'll use the white color here. So s prime of 3 or v of 3, whichever you want to call it. So I'm just plugging this right in to my velocity equation. And what I get out from this is 3. So that would be 3 feet a second. So that is a direction though. So technically for speed, so this came out to be positive, but if it hadn't, so for speed, what you have to do is you always want to take the absolute value of your velocity. So in this case, it came out positive, so it's fine. But my speed in this case would still be 3 feet a second. But if this answer were to say come out negative, then the speed would still be, you take the absolute value of that, and the speed would still be 3 feet a second, if that makes sense. So speed, you always want to take the absolute value of. Now, this last question actually, I think, throws a lot of people for a loop here. So what is the total distance traveled from t equals 0 to t equals 7? So this is now really making sure that you understand kind of what is happening here. So distance is different from position, right? So think about it like this, in a more simplified example. So let's say that you're walking and you go 2 feet this way, and then you go 1 foot this way. So you would be back at the 1 foot spot, right? You would be back 1 foot from where you started. So that would be like just the amount of displacement that you've had, but the actual distance that you had traveled, you traveled 2 feet this way and 1 foot this way, so you traveled 3 feet in total, right? So the thing you have to be careful about with a question like this is you have to figure out whether or not your object actually did this, right? Went forward and then backward. And so you can figure that out actually by thinking about the velocity function. So let me bring that back. Okay, so here is my velocity function. It's a parabola, and so I actually want to take a field trip for a moment to look at the parabola to help you really visualize this. So let's take a field trip. So here's my parabola, and I'm at desmos.com, by the way, which is, if you watch my videos a lot, this is like one of my favorite websites to use for demonstrating math. So here's my parabola that models my velocity function. And by the way, for this parabola, I'm going to be using x and y because Desmos won't let you put in t. So, okay, so you can see by looking at this that, you can see the zeros, but what information do we actually get out of this? So a lot of people don't quite read velocity function graphs quite right. So the key thing to notice with this are actually the y values and where they are positive or negative, because that's telling you about the movement of your object. So what I mean is, so from here, from 0 to 2, notice that all my y values are negative. So that tells me that my object is going one direction. So we'll call that maybe backwards. And then from 2 to 4, my y values go positive. So that tells me then that the object starts to move forward. And then from 4 on, my y values go negative again. So then that tells me that the object is going backwards again. You have to set a direction, really. So left or right or front and back, however you want to think of it. So this is exactly that situation I was talking about with displacement. And I've also graphed the actual position function. So here's the actual position function, and you can see that, right? So when I look here, so here I am, I'm going backwards, I'm going backwards, and then here at 2, right? So right here at 2, then I change direction. So if I just tried to, calculate going from 7 seconds to 0, the problem is if I try to just plug those straight into this, I would not capture this little blip right here where the direction changes. So you want to actually use your velocity function to help you figure out where those directional changes occur. So now we're going to use this information. So now what I want to do is I want to use kind of this interval here to help guide me on how I'm going to kind of look at my position function. So I really need to know what's happening from the moment from 0 to 2, because we know that's going one direction. And then I need to know what's happening from 2 to 4. And then I need to know what's happening from 4 to 7 seconds. So I just have to really plug these actually into my position function. So like this, so s of 2 minus s of 0. So I can just plug these values right in. And I'll just tell you what these come out to. So this comes out to negative 20 minus 0, so this will be negative 20. And then I'll do this again, so I'll look at s of 4 minus s of 2. And so check this out. Now I'm going from, this will be negative 16 minus negative 20. So this comes out to positive 4. So notice how we capture now that distance, kind of we capture that displacement in the calculation, right? And then finally, if I look at s of 7 minus s of 4, that's negative 70 minus negative 16. So that's negative 54. So there's the feet traveled. So notice how I've actually kind of picked up a lot of information by kind of dividing up this interval. So you might have thought, why can't I just take s of 7 minus s of 0? And the shorter answer is you would have lost kind of this little piece of information in here that you need for distance. So then to calculate my actual distance, so you just take the absolute value of each one of those measurements. So this is negative 20 feet one direction, 4 feet one direction, and then negative 54 going backwards again. And all of this will equal 78 feet. So that's the actual total distance. Okay, so not a trivial question by any means. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.